Are your best years behind you just because you're over 50? If you believe this, well, it's probably true for you, but it doesn't really have to be that way. I hate it when people say to me, I'm too old to start running. You're never too old. Hey, it's time to rewrite that story that you're telling yourself. I'm Coach Lisa from the Running University, and I'm here to help women put the fun in their run. If you're new here to my channel, thank you so much for listening, and make sure to subscribe. And if you're back, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We can be our own worst enemies when it comes to our mindset. It's likely keeping you from doing something that you've always wanted to do, like running. But we keep believing these societal norms that we're too old to run or start a business or go back to school. Or maybe you're even comparing yourself to your younger self when you maybe were a strong athlete in college, and maybe now you are overweight and you haven't worked out in months, maybe even years. But guess what? The good news is we can change our mindset. And honestly, this is one of the ways that I put the fun in my run and other people's. So just to go back, if you remember this video right here a couple weeks ago, I shared the 6 ingredients to walking and running for women over 50. And last week I shared the first one, that was mindfulness, and that's this video right over here. Today we're moving on to the second one, which is mindset. So what if I told you that the secret to transforming your walking and running journey isn't just about moving your feet, but where you set your mind? Seriously, your mindset could be one of your most powerful allies, or it could also be one of your biggest obstacles. So today I thought I'd dive into this a little bit and talk about mindset and walking and running. And I'll leave you with another fun learning experience at the end for your next walk or run that you can try out. You'll hear a lot of runners say how hard the first mile is every time. And you want to know why I think that is? I think it's because they keep saying that, like you're affirming the fact that it's hard, so you believe it, and it is. I love my first mile. It's part of my warm-up. I'm usually walking most of it, and I'm getting like my intention for my run. I'm thinking about, hey, I'm out here doing something good for my mind and body. I'm not putting any serious pressure on myself. So I'm likely to have a much better first mile than other people who don't think they have one. Or the other thing drives me a little batty, but people that say running sucks or I hate running. Sure, there's a love-hate relationship with it, but if you keep saying to yourself that it sucks or you hate it, I think it always will be that way. And honestly, if that's what you want and that works for you, that's fine. I'm not judging. But I really love running. I mean, sure, again, there's a love-hate relationship with it, but I really do. I love it. So how do you start working on your mindset? I know it sounds easy, but it's just a matter of working on writing or rewriting your story. And we want to focus on a growth mindset. And this is what I do when I'm training my walkers and runners, whether it's for their races or to become consistent with their routines. And why does mindset matter? Well, walking and running can provide us so many opportunities to change the story. And when we write that story, it's also trickling into our everyday life. Of course, it's always a work in progress, but the more you practice, like everything else, the easier it's going to get. And part of this process is becoming self-aware, which is why mindfulness is the first important part of these 6 ingredients. Because when you're mindful, you can be more self-aware, and then you can recognize right away and listen to yourself go down the rabbit hole with negative thoughts. And then you acknowledge them, and then you reframe. So here's some examples, like overcoming self-doubt. In this stage of our life, it's easy to be our own critics, thinking that we're too old or it's too late to start. But if we have the right mindset, we can really flip that script. Maybe it takes somebody like me, a coach, to convince you that you can do something before you believe it. Or maybe you want to go watch this playlist of videos of my badass true tribe women who are doing things they never thought possible. Yeah, I have women in their 60s doing their first ultra marathons. Another big one is comparing yourself to others, or like I said, to your younger self. It takes a while to learn this, but I will say that the more that I age, the more I could care less about what other people think of me. Easier said than done. and maybe not that easy if you're starting something new like running. And you know what? Comparing yourself to the younger version of you, it's normal. A lot of us do it. But you know what? That's also something that you learn to change. You were a different person back then. You can't possibly hold yourself to the same standards and what you were doing at that point in your life. And seriously, who really cares about what other people think of you? It's time to rewrite that story. Hey, another reason is really navigating setbacks and learning to do it with grace. The journey is not going to be smooth, I'll guarantee you, but how you respond to those obstacles is going to make all the difference. Okay, so because when you have these opportunities, they're actually going to challenge you to grow and become even stronger. For example, a DNF is a did not finish. This happens in races. Either you didn't get to an aid station in time, or you got sick or something happened. And sure, you might be disappointed, but you're going to learn from that experience so that you can go ahead and get better next time. And releasing high expectations. You know, we can set really high expectations of ourselves, unrealistic ones. It's like the Couch to 5K. I see a lot of people start the Couch to 5K, and it can be a great program, but it really does move too fast, at least in my opinion. And I watch people beat themselves up about being able to keep up. And hey, if you can't complete a week, maybe just repeat it. So instead of these expectations, you can set an intention. And the intention could be you want to run a 5K without stopping. That's what Couch to 5K is, to get you there. But now you've given yourself permission to do it on your own terms. Repeat a week, repeat it 3 times. Who cares? Another good one is celebrating wins. So important for a growth mindset. You know, whether it was maybe your first mile without stopping or you did your fastest lap around the track, it's so important to really celebrate, you know, the big wins, but every little small win too. And the other, one of my favorites is just really developing a sense of adventure and curiosity, you know, and really approaching your walk in a way, instead of making it a routine, you know, or make your running a routine, you know, turn it into an adventure. You know, do you know how many times I've seen adults in the middle of a group run, running by a park, stop and go on the swing set and on the slide? You know, you don't have to take yourself that seriously. Are you ready for that little learning experience again? All right, this time I'm calling this one the Mindset Mile. But hey, if you're one of those people that I talked about earlier about hating your first mile, I want you to write 5 reasons why your first mile is going to be great. Read them, affirm them, and then see if it's a different experience. I'd love to hear about it if you try that. And for the rest of you, this is kind of like, I don't know, it's not silly, maybe even a little cheesy, but they're little 4 mindset milestones. So you're going to dedicate a quarter mile to each one. So your first quarter mile is your milestone of strength. And think about a time when you overcame an obstacle in your life, maybe how hard it was, what you had to do to overcome it, you know, and let that strength that you had fuel you. And then the second quarter, think about gratitude. Maybe think about something or someone that you're grateful for, and just let that gratitude propel you forward. And then milestone of joy, one of my favorites. Hone in on the joy that you're feeling at that exact moment. Why are you happy that you're out on this walk or run? Is it the fresh air, the alone time? Really feel that joy. And then the last quarter mile of your mile is the milestone of possibility. You know, maybe start thinking about what's next. What goals are you visualizing? And think about that as you complete your last mindset mile. Hey, I hope this got you really fired up and is opening you up to the idea of new possibilities, whether it's running, you know, making it part of your journey. But hey, trust me, it really can be fun. And these are ways that I do it. Next week, I'm talking about my 3rd ingredient that's going to make walking and running easier for you, especially as you age, and that is technique and form. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, so you can get notified. Talk to you later.